I would like to mention too, we're starting with an evening stream. I've been doing Runeterra in all of the mornings segments of my stream, but for people that aren't familiar, I've been doing a few hours in the morning and a few hours in the evening each day, but I've mostly been doing variety stuff in the evening. I think over the course of the next couple weeks, I'm going to be trying experimenting, mixing that up a little bit, doing a few morning Runeterra sessions, a few morning variety sessions, a few evening variety sessions, and get a feel for if people like mixing it up or if they prefer things be consistent all the time, or like what the ideal is for people. So if you have feelings on that, be sure to ping me on social media, Discord, or if you're watching this on YouTube, in a YouTube comment. All right, anywho, Girl Scouts. This is a kind of a stock good deck. This archetype has had a very reasonable win rate for the last couple of seasons. This, as well as Shen Fiora, so two Demacia decks, had some of the highest win rates posted among the Riot data dump that we got a couple of weeks back, or a week or so back now. And one thing to note, though, is that even though they have high win rates, they don't necessarily have super high play rates. So take win rates with a grain of salt. Even though the sample sizes were large, the decks weren't quite popular enough to have people strictly teching against them to be gunning down to potentially suppress that win rate a bit. So why do we call it Girl Scouts? Well, Scout is a mechanic in Runeterra. This is the first time you attack each turn. If you attack with only Scout units, you get to attack with everything again. So you get to get your attack token back. So Quinn is one of our girls who also has Scout, and she summons a Valor. Thanks for the support, Mr. Peach. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me around. Cassius, thank you for the 16 months. Welcome back. Anywho, Quinn's Scout ability works well with her level up ability, so I've seen you attack 4 times. One thing that's notable about Quinn and Miss Fortune, other champions, is they explicitly have to see you attack, which means these champions have to be in play. So they're a little bit harder than something like, say, Lulu, where they just have to be in your deck, or Soraka, where they just have to, those things have to happen, but they don't have to be in play. Miss Fortune, our second champion, has the same level up condition as Quinn, but she does not have Scout. So she says, whenever an ally attacks, deal 1 damage to all battling enemies and the enemy nexus. So if you have Scout units, not only do you get to level her up quickly, but you get to trigger her ability twice per turn, which is very good with things like Challenger units, for example, and finishing off things that have 1 toughness on the other side. Her leveled mode. Her leveled mode does everything just a little bit better. Has Overwhelm, deals 1 damage 3 times to battling enemies and the enemy nexus. And then the rest of this deck, you'll note at the top here, we only have 3 Bilgewater cards. Miss Fortune is our only Bilgewater card. And the reason for this is Vanguard Bannerman. So on Allegiance, which means when this comes into play, if the top card of your deck is a Demacia card, everything you control other than this gets +1/+1 permanently. So this card is kind of the payoff or the incentive for being a primarily mono Demacia deck. We take a little bit of risk by having Miss Fortune, but obviously she's a very powerful effect, so we're happy to have her. The rest of the deck is just good, aggressive curve cards here. Some interaction and some combat tricks, some Loran Proteges as challengers. We got some Relentless Pursuits, which lets you rally to attack again. Very good scary card, especially with your Scouts. If you Relentless Pursuit on your opponent's turn, you get 2 attacks basically if you have Scouts in play, so let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it goes. Right there. It's like I knew it. There's a lot of decks in here at the moment. Titan, I love your Runeterra content. Played the Scary Wraith deck in my gauntlet today, and it never got banned. Deck's fierce, pun intended. Ran people down to a smooth 4-0-8. Hey, congrats, Titan. Yeah, I think that archetype, and just for reference, like that wasn't my deck. That was a viewer submission that I'm sure came from other places in Runeterra. But I think that archetype in general is currently underrepresented in terms of play out there because of in comparison to its power level. So I definitely think that deck in general is much stronger than its current play rate would imply. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something we see pick up more. Mono Ash, huh? So usually we see Freljord Doctors with Ash Shajani. I wonder if they are utilizing Entreat to find more copies of Ash. With Babblingberg too, they could have like 12 virtual copies of their champion. Come mulligan these and look for some more proactive plays with Love of Misfortune in the opener. Hitting a 1-drop here is also great, so long as they don't have a an Omen Hawk, that is. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Pow! Get him. Get in there, Fleet Feather. I believe in burbs, chat. Have you heard about my burb? Perfect. And since we drew this, we no longer care about this Omen Hawk. So we're not blocking here. I don't want to trade. With Misfortune, Misfortune's trigger will kill this when we challenge it, which is excellent.
No prey, no pay.
Thanks, Mr. Peach. So we'll go ahead and hook this. So again, this trigger will kill this, which means this doesn't get hit in combat. This doesn't get to deal damage to them because it doesn't have Overwhelm, but I get to do this now as well, which is great. So really, really solid hits here overall. Misfortune got to see 2 attacks happen here, which is great. Nah, Troll Chant's gonna get us at some point. I think guaranteed getting 2 attacks that turn for Misfortune is ideal.
Took the bait.
Took the bait. How do we feel about playing this so that way they can't attack in with this? I think I'm into it.
My shield is yours. I ought to show you the sights of Bilgewater. The sights are fine. The smells, on the other hand.
Alright, we could potentially level Misfortune this turn. Yeah, we could see the turn 5 Misfortune flip. So, even if they play another unit out here, we get to attack with Quinn, Valor, Valor.
Still heart, steady aim.
So, these'll trade.
You'll pay.
I don't think Scouts versus, oh, you know what? Maybe I should have saved my other challenge. Are they dead? They're just dead, right?
Just like hunting thresher geese.
I think they're just dead.
No regrets,
I don't
no
think
regrets.
it's a strictly better, strictly worse comparison, Scouts to Pirate Burn. I do think that, the Scouts deck, on average, tends to be a little bit more interactive of the 2 aggressive decks, just because this deck has so many challenger units and combat tricks and stuff like that.
Now let's get back out there.
So, the casual turn 5 lethal there, no big deal. No bigs, no bigs. Hey, Shadow Lord, good to have you here. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Runeterra's been great. Super excited for this game. It's a good one. I'm gonna be streaming Gauntlets this weekend. Yes! I haven't completely locked in my schedule yet for next week. I'll probably do that tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, but I am planning to play a Gauntlets for sure on Sunday. And then depending on, so Sunday afternoon we'll be doing 2 Gauntlets with 2 different lineups at a minimum. And then depending on if we have people submit other lineups, we'll do more on Monday as well. So Johnny Tryndamere, I'm going to keep this, mulligan these, looking for Misfortune and 1-drops, I think. Alright, 1, 2, 3, not bad. Evening Quart, welcome to a live one. It's just trying to go bigger on Overwhelm. I'd like to enter the seasonal tournament. So, A lot of the decks we play on stream are viewer submissions, so I'm not going to stress out trying to grind ladder rank, but I'm probably going to play the last chance qualifier. And if I queue that way, I'll definitely play it. I've achieved 3 Prime Glories so far for the season. Huh?
New recruit reporting in.
Cithra.
I'm
I
ready.
think I'm gonna go ahead and swap these here. This gives me a pretty decent open attacks with this. We could get Troll Chanted or Elixir here. So if you're someone that's new to the channel, we primarily play games for fun here. So while I do my best to play well with the variety of things that we do, purely spike / competitive focus isn't what we're about. Usually like to hello. We're currently playing Girl Scouts, which is a tiered deck, but a lot of the things are a little bit more off the beaten path, like the Lux Karma deck we're gonna play next. Man, that is just a chunky brick wall, huh?
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good.
Many try, one Freljord.
That's kind of scary. With this Allegiance card, they must not be playing that many, They must not be playing that many, I think we're probably dead. Like, they're only down to 14 here, and the board's clear at this point.
Hell of a day.
We're down on cards here as well. Like, their next unit coming off the top is going to have a ton of attack and defense.
Alright, let's mess some folks up.
Let's mess some folks up. Huh. Alright, yeah, sure.
Quiet of the woods. There's nothing.
It says Scout and Challenger, so it can force something to block her. That's a 9/9. Yeah, dang, we're pretty dead here at this point. This matchup seems pretty hard for us. Their units just solidly outclass ours in terms of raw stats. Yeah, Jun to White Weenie is a pretty apt comparison. Seems reasonable. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Boston, thank you for the very generous tier 2. Hope you're staying safe out there. Thanks for the support.
I'm actually here.
Ours is the one true light. Punish transgressors.
So, I think with these in hand, I'm actually not going to attack with this. Because this'll get big enough to not trade with this down the line. Dr. Mr. Punny, thank you for the absurdly generous tip.
Strength and grace, beauty in the play.
Yep, my dashboard's not loaded up. Let me refresh that here really quick.
Soldiers, to me!
Let's get the Final Fantasy VII Remake into the queue. Sounds fantastic. Looking forward to it.
The dawn has arrived.
Carry her light across the mountain.
And then honestly, I think I hook this down here and just let these slam into these here. Well, I guess this goes poorly if they have Pale Cascade. So Riot does their best to support their content creators pretty well, so I had a pretty full collection even before they hooked me up, but I have like an overabundance of wildcards at this point because Riot just like sent me a giant pile of them.
We Demacians are no easy prey.
Hopefully they attack here so I can chump block, and then I have complete Vanguard Bannerman out next turn.
Just like hunting thresher geese.
Just do this to start.
Mercy for heretics.
I guess this is not great. I guess this is fine in the Sharp Sight, or Pale Cascade, right? Because then I Sharp Sight, and then I Bannerman.
Valor!
Yeah, when you have the same board on both sides, they tend to have really nice symmetry. So, assuming there's not a Misfortune on top of our deck, this Bannerman's going to be real good. Might have a piece of removal here. Is that a thing we can apply to? Yeah, actually. So, if you click the details on the Riot partner, there's a League partner link underneath my stream in the stream info section. I think the Twitch requirements are 50 concurrent viewers, if I recall. I don't remember what the YouTube. There's different thresholds for Twitch and YouTube, and I forget exactly what they are. Well, I should technically challenge this last, right? In case there's some kind of lifelink thing.
Back, heretic.
All right, what do we got? So this is lethal then, right? Alright. Perfect. Managed to beat a judgment.
We're safe. For now.
We're safe for now. Whew. Sharp Sight's such a quality combat trick. The fact that the toughness buff heals things that have damage on them in this game is real good. When was the last time we played with Shark Cannon? It's been a hot second. Yeah, the last opponent's deck was like playing a pretty big greedy deck. I'm interested to see how this feels. I bet this is hard for us. I would imagine on the surface this is not a great matchup. I think we full mulligan here, looking for 1, 2s, and 3s. Not amazing, but fine. Our X1s aren't stellar against what's likely a Static Shock deck, but their deck has a lot of cheap removal in general, so...
Anything helps.
Well, we did play Twisted Gangplank, didn't we? That's a good call. Easy swing. Just passing here. This gets played with spell mana. Spare a coin for your Witcher.
Time for a play a skill.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
Watch and learn.
I think the current format's great. I think this current format is my favorite format that I played since I started playing Runeterra. I think there are removal heavy decks like this with Ezreal, but I think the interactive Ezreal decks are a pretty healthy style of deck to have be the best deck in a given format. I also don't think you can even say that, like, objectively this style of deck is the best deck. I feel like there's some debate as to, like, what exactly qualifies as the best currently. Like, if you ask me to pick out, like, what is the single best deck in the format, I don't think I'd have a good answer for you offhand. Are Genevieve and Cithra interchangeable? I think the Scout on Genevieve's pretty important, not only for the Scout sub-theme, but also for helping you control the board. Like I said, I think one of the big appeals to this archetype that we're currently playing in general is the fact that it tends to be pretty interactive. So having these challengers that allow you to control the board tends to be very beneficial. Mobilytics has 3 S tier decks that are all aggro. Sure. And I mean, like, that in and of itself, in my mind, even shows counter to the idea that, like, Ezreal is limiting, right? So, like, if these removal heavy decks are preying on anything, they'd be preying on the aggressive decks. And if aggressive decks are thriving while Ezreal decks are popular, that's a net positive for the game. Let me go ahead and do this to kill him in response. Maybe this is loose and I'm just supposed to bank spell mana here. Oh, perfect. Sure. This is a good result. So I have Helmheart to kill this next turn, so, like, it's, like, not a big deal that that happened. Our curve here is great. We get to play this turn, and then next turn we can Bannerman plus Rally and get some decent attacks in, hopefully. We'll see if they have a Swain here. He's getting close to level in. Helmheart's gonna get to tear apart Ezreal here, hopefully, though. Assuming they don't have something like a Stun Spider. Yeah, I've played Slay the Spire in the past. I'm really not a fan. The gameplay in Slay the Spire, I think, is kind of uncompelling. It doesn't have a ton of depth to it. Or at least not in a way. The ton of depth is not the right way. It doesn't hold my attention. Slay the Spire. The core gameplay in Slay the Spire is very akin to playing Limited, and I'm definitely someone who prefers being able to iterate on the decks that I'm playing as opposed to having to throw them away after each run. In general, as far as roguelike games, though, I greatly prefer games like Griftlands. Or for card games like that, I prefer Griftlands or, gosh, I'm forgetting there's another one we played like that we did a sponsored segment for that was really good that I'm completely blanking on. But I prefer those style of games have a more story-driven narrative rather than being purely... rather than just being purely about building a deck. No, Mythgard's CCG like this one. Gordian Quest, that was the one. Gordian Quest was it. So, Gordian Quest and Griftlands have similar-ish core gameplay to,
Such little life.
I am Buddy. It's funny, Declan still asked me about that one, Baba. Dad, are you gonna play the Buddy game again? Probably dead here. Like, their deck definitely has more top end than us, where it's similar life totals and they're ahead on board.
I'm actually here.
They have an 8-drop here, the game is over. The game's probably over without an 8-drop.
Prepare the cargo! There is no excess when victory is at stake.
Now we're done. Yeah, Scouts is definitely a good laddering deck. It's got pretty reasonable matches, and like win or lose, your games tend to be decided fairly quickly. You can take a look at a board state and know what's happening. Evening, Mark Mata. Lord Raizuaki, thanks for the follow if you're still here. Hope you're having a wonderful night. We are Diamond, which is one below Masters. Looking at these two, looking for a misfortune, I think. Keep my 1-2 curve here. Laurent Protege is fine.
I'll write my own story. A real battle.
A real battle. Want to lead on Sithra as opposed to Fleet Feather Tracker here because Sithra doesn't die to Thermo Beam on one. Hey, Warsmith, good evening. Yeah, I think depending on what the numbers look like tonight, like if we hit, I don't know, the 400 to 500 people that I usually hit in the mornings, I think I'm going to try and mix and match the schedule up a little bit more than I have been. Do a little bit, some evening Runeterra, some morning variety back and forth. I'm watching the EU tournament for, yeah, almost assuredly. Been having that on in the mornings on the weekend. It's been good stuff.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, and like the free-to-play is so incidentally good too that like even if you're someone that doesn't want to explicitly grind for cards, like if you just let's say you buy your first deck for some cash, like by the time you're ready to play the next deck, a lot of the time you'll incidentally just have earned a bunch of stuff towards it, which is great. I believe it's Riot Games 2 on Twitch is the channel for that one. The person that was asking what channel is that on? That's been going on every weekend for the last couple of weekends. And then my stream on Sunday will actually be right about when that's finishing up. They're a European tournament, so they start pretty early. I have achieved 3 Prime Glories. I missed Prime Glory both of the weeks the format was singleton. Yeah, that's true too. If you just pull up the Runeterra section on Twitch, it'll be on top this weekend. Huh? I think I Fleet Feather into Bannerman here, as opposed to deploying the other scout.
Safeguard our citizens.
The format for the EU tournament is very novel, that is for sure. It's got a lot going on. Nine decks is a lot. I think it's a neat format for a small tournament with just like the limited number of people that they have, but like for example, I wouldn't want to play the format that they're using in something like the seasonal tournaments. So I have a decision to make here. I want to kill Draven with the Challenger. If I challenge with this dies to Ravenous Flock. If I challenge with this dies to Mystic Shot or Death Sand. I think I choose to play around Mystic Shot. They're not on Swain, so there's no guarantee that they're on 4 flocks. And they're almost, or 3 flocks, and they're almost assuredly on 3 Mystic Shot and probably some number of Death Sand. So I think we're better off challenging here. Could you set the goal on screen to X at a 1600 to chick viewers, Lizard Brain? Nah, I believe in honesty and transparency. So, even when we're above 1500, I'm gonna leave that up there as the goal, because that's the threshold to focus on Runeterra and just what I want in general. Alright, what you got? Oh, they're not killing Draven. Okay, so they must have another Draven in hand then. Yeah, that's my plan, Genix. I don't even necessarily know if I'll end up back at Magic in general, but like below 1500 concurrence is like the threshold for I need to consider how I'm structuring this as my job, if I want to change games back to doing Magic, or if I want to just apply for like actual normal people jobs. That's also an option I have. For people that aren't familiar with my background, I have a master's degree in mathematics, I have teaching experience, I've worked as a system analyst for a Fortune 50 company before, done some software development stuff, so I'm fortunate and I have some choices.
Yeah, I'm up.
Watch and learn.
So, obviously blocking here is not good, even with this, because this has quick attack, and they have 2 axes here, so I think we just take another 3 ball. Relentless Pursuit is such an awkward card. When it's like good, it's insane, but when it's bad, gosh, is it terrible. Maybe it's gonna end up being okay this turn. Yeah, Static Shock gonna mess me up.
Break their spirits and their
I mean, to be fair, like, I know I like streaming as a job when there are games that I enjoy, especially, but like I didn't dislike working a traditional office job. The reason why I quit my office job, gosh, almost 7 years ago now at this point, was because Jake was born and Christie's job had more stability and benefits than my full-time job had. She had better health insurance offered, and she had better long-term prospects for promotions and things like that.
This is gonna hurt for you. Time for the moneymakers.
I think we're definitely just cashing one of these in as a deal 5, right? It's not close.
Real battle.
Noise.
They don't know what they're up against.
Was that a good draw? Could anybody let me know in chat why? If so,
The wood can't fight back, but I can.
damn you, Lord. Yeah, this one's a lot of fun. Brian's definitely got something special here. They've done good. We got a thermo beam here. Mystic shot, sure.
Charge!
So this means that, are we dead to these spitting axes? Actually, that's a good question. So they can hit us for
Gotcha.
charge. So this can kill this, but then they die here. Were these spitting axes lethal? Each of these spitting axes would have dealt 2, this would have dealt 3. So not quite, would have been at 3. So they need something in hand that's not either of those. Okay, and then they don't. So now we put them to 3. We traded with Ezreal. And I have an open attacks here. I have a complaint. You've been telling us Runeterra decks cost $25 to $30, but the Stunning Winds deck on your website costs $30.30. Quick, someone help, dude. Does the Stunning Winds deck on my website contain any cards that you get for free? I need someone to look it up. I'm sure there's 3 commons in there that you get free just for signing up. It does not play with Ash. It plays Yasuo. Gosh, that's good. It plays Yasuo Leona. That was from a Canadian. Canadians can time people out? Is that legal? Oh, we were so close, chat. This close. I could also actually you with I say most competitive Runeterra decks cost $25 to $30, and you could argue the Sunny Winds deck on my website is more for fun and not quite competitive. That deck actually contains a higher than normal number of epic quality cards in it, right? For full mulliganing, we'll keep the 1-drop, and we're looking for like a 2 and a 3 to curve into. We've been really bad so far tonight about drawing Misfortune on 3. I just clicked through my attack because I was talking and reading chat. Well, if we lose by 2, we know who to blame.
Nothing escapes my watch. For the homestead.
For the homestead.
Looking for trouble? It found you.
It found you. Culling Strike?
Patience.
There.
Look out for reavers.
Do you have an elixir to save this Dorko? Nope. Deal.
Light the signal fires.
Chat is an advantage, chat told me. Sounds like something chat would say.
Yeah, I'm up.
I'm up. No blocks. Go to 13. Huh? So 7 mana total. Do I want to riposte this turn? I feel like the answer is no. I feel like I want to do this because this sets me up to bank spell mana, which allows me to Elmheart into Relentless Pursuit on their next turn. Which seems good. Well, shit. I wish I could be like a fly on the wall for like the games that this deck is dominating to get the win rate that it has, because like every time we play this archetype, it feels incredibly underwhelming. been your experience too? Yeah.
Ride onward.
Well, I think I'm supposed to do this. Maybe it's just get this
One of the
thing
good
up.
guys, but not that.
Hey, Carafe, thanks for the tip. I appreciate that. I get that deck added to the queue after I'm done streaming tonight. Really appreciate the support.
A chill in the air.
Is anybody new dropping into the stream tonight? Like that donation Carafe just made, a lot of the decks that we play here are viewer submissions. So if you have something you'd like to see played on stream at some point in the future and like an easy way to support my content, you can submit a deck to be played by using the directions on my website. I guess we do this, because then next turn we play this, she pumps this, we rally, this hooks into this.
I'll be damned.
It's not terrible.
My shield is yours.
Crush them to dust.
We have a shot here. Yeah, but like, so for example, like what you just described there, M. Kaduri, like, that's a sign of a deck that's like not very good though, right? So like, you're saying the thing we're doing wrong is not protecting Misfortune. Well, what about all of the various games where like you don't draw Misfortune or you don't have a way to protect her? You just like DOA in those games? Yeah, that's been an experience I've had a lot too. Like, these cards are so backbreaking when you have them at pivotal points, but there's so many points where like you just don't like they just don't line up well, right? Although we might steal this. We're gonna be 1 point short next turn. Is that real? We're gonna be 1 point short next turn, right? And then we're dead to decimate. They can also have flash freezes and stuff here too. Yeah, rough. Sky Zero runs the world. Thanks for 17 bucks. We are, student. Thursday morning / early afternoon. We'll be doing a cooking stream. I'll be finalizing the schedule for next week and tweeting it out sometime tomorrow morning. We are going to cook the food we normally cook, as well as attempting to make a pumpkin pie from scratch. But I've also purchased an actual ready-made pumpkin pie just in case our from scratch one doesn't work out. Is the best of 3 format over? It's actually started again. So the gauntlets in Runeterra, for people that aren't familiar, they start Friday afternoon and they run through Monday night. So if you're interested in playing best of 3 in Runeterra, you can do that. If you have a best of 3 lineup you'd like to submit to see played on stream, I'm planning to play best of 3 Sunday afternoon as well as possibly Monday morning, depending on what submissions we get. But I'm not playing it tonight because I have a bunch of single deck submissions that I would like to get through. how many? Half a dozen decks in the queue waiting to be played. You're playing Tarek Lux. Tarek is kind of a neat synergy with Lux because he recast the buff that you cast on him. So he counts as a thing being cast towards Lux. Maybe trading there was wrong because I had Blightsteel Protector. I can see that. That's fine. Worked out.
Alright, let's mess some folks up.
Do you need Prime Glory to enter the seasonal tournament?
I am here.
Not strictly. So the details on how the qualification path works can be found on Riot's website. I'd recommend just looking it up as opposed to having me throw little bits at you here on stream.
Here we go.
And again, like, this is an experience I've had a lot with this archetype where, like, our board just isn't wide, and, like, I just have all these combat tricks in my hand. And then, like, on top of that being an experience, we then have, like, you know, 1 mana 2/2s in our deck that we have to draw that feel real bad to draw.
You're covered.
Look sharp.
Hardly fair.
Unyielding.
Right, and this gets tough too, so I can't even trade with it in combat.
My duty's done. I'll write my own story. No prey, no pay.
Had barrier, why not block? Sure.
Mwah.
Justice will be served.
Alright, we're gonna try. We're gonna try one more game with this one, but hang on, I'm about ready to shelve the Girl Scouts.
Now we plan our revenge.
I don't know. I'm gonna take this deck as a submission again. I get that plenty of people do well with it, but I don't find the gameplay particularly compelling, and it's been like aggressively mediocre the last 2 times we played it. Definitely prefer the fearsome or pirate aggro decks. Someone else mentioned earlier that they felt this deck wasn't about playing on curve, and like, I feel like that can't be the case, or like, if this deck really isn't about playing on curve, why on God's green earth is there a 1 mana 2/2 in my deck? Like, you only register this card if you're interested in playing on curve, right? That's the entire purpose of this low power, no synergy card. Have you heard about my bird?
Fuse his legs.
Fortune favors the bold.
Who's my favorite champion? Probably Twisted Fate. He's the most fun you can have. Twisted Fate's level Twisted Fate is a real good time. A lot of decks just like play him as like a cute value card, but in decks like the Jagged Taskmaster deck that we played last week, or Jagged Taskmaster or Twisted Diana, decks that level him super consistently, is a lot of fun.
To the tipsy hour.
All our choices here kind of suck. Do I play this as just a 3/3? I think the answer is no.
We Demacians are no easy prey.
Okay, so if I Bannerman next turn on their turn, on my next turn I can Misfortune into second Bannerman. They're an Avalanche deck? Seriously? I guess they're Swain, huh? I was thinking Ash to Johnny when I saw these regions. I should pay more attention. That's just brutal. We're doing our part to bring the win rate of this deck down to average.
Soldiers, to me!
To me.
We feast tonight, Bard.
It's the Winter's Claw. To arms!
Doesn't seem likely, Claire. And again, like, now we're at this point of the game where, like, we're behind on board, we're at parity with cards in hand, and our opponent's playing a mid-range deck, so their average card quality that they're drawing is higher than the average card quality that we're drawing from here on out. So it feels like we're just behind by every metric that matters. That's true, Fekara.
Conquest!
Yeah, and see, like, this is just a good example, right? Like, just like, this is the individually most powerful card in our deck, and it just does not come close to Leviathan.
Somebody's gonna bleed for this.
To be fair, Clur, I didn't go over the full structure of qualifying for the seasonal tournament in that video, because we've known how to qualify for a long time. That's going over some of the technical details and talking about coverage. Where were we? I don't know. Just to have a quick wrap on this one. This is one of the deck that's up on Mobalytics. It has an incredibly large sample size with an incredibly high reasonable win rate, but it just feels mediocre every time I play it. It could be something that we're fundamentally doing wrong, but the mix of cards that are weak, like Sithra, and all of our various combat tricks and stuff that can come up in the wrong mix at times just doesn't feel good. Like, our games that we win feel close, and then we pair that with games that we get run over that just don't feel close, and yeah, this one's definitely not one. I don't find the play patterns in general particularly compelling. This one's just not really one that I'm a big fan of.